Hello, how you guys doing? James here. I hope you're doing well and staying cool or warm wherever you're at. Well, my topic this evening is I have to talk about, I want to talk about this situation, and a couple content creators made a good points about what I've been doing before is interracial relationships, and this is going to deal with black men and black women, and the mates that they choose. And during this segment, I'm going to show when you pick a mate of another race, make sure you know their character. Because in this video is going to show you why. Shout out to all the content creators, starting with One Race Slave.
A credit card. It works like a credit card, but it's actually an easier way for me to access the.
Assalamu alaikum. Thanks to all my subs and supporters who watch, like, share, and comment on the videos. It's greatly appreciated. Anybody who would like to support the channel, the link to my book, The N-Word is No Secret in the Service, is in the description of every video. We also have the Runaway Slave store, link in the description. Go grab yourself a souvenir or something like that. Let's go. Okay, Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson. And you guys who love to be with the snow bunnies, okay? You know, people have the right to be with whoever they want to be with. It's their life. You're still a man. You're still a human. You're still worthy of respect, okay? Black people who love being in relationships with white Americans, that's their business. And there's no reason to hate, in my opinion. You know what I mean? And many of us don't even care who someone is with because it's not our problem. That's that person's life. And it don't change the narrative of real race relations in America anyway. That's their bit, whatever, man. You know what I'm saying? I know some respectable black men who have a white wife or likes to go snow bunny hopping and whatever. Some good people. Personally, no problems with them really. You know what I'm saying? These people that I know though, they mind their business. They live their life. They accept what they do. You know, they know it's not their place to go around making statements, you know, as far as race relations and things. They can't do that no more. You know what I'm saying? Because they want to be biased. And they don't say they go live their life and they happy. They leave it alone. But people like Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson and RG3 and many of these other Negroes are an example of where it becomes a problem, okay? Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson, for people who don't know, damn, I'm thinking everybody know this dude right here. I watched combat sports for years. One of the greatest fighters in UFC history. One of the greatest MMA fighters, period. He never got his due as a great fighter, and he should have. And the reason why he didn't is because he's black. You know, the white people who control the UFC and the networks, they slighted him, and they didn't market him the way that they were supposed to because he's black. But one of the greatest fighters ever, okay? If people think Conor McGregor is good, listen, he's not, but he's okay. I can't say Conor McGregor's not good. Mighty Mouse is 3-4 times better than him of a fighter, okay? He never got his due because he's white. I'm sorry, because he's black. He was slighted. And their excuse was always that, oh, well, he wasn't as marketable. But they may have a little point there, but ultimately it was because, you know, he's black. He wasn't out acting like a big black buck buffoon like people like Rampage Jackson and others. And white people are just not going to get behind a black fighter just because he's good. You know, they're going to root against him naturally. They'll respect him, but that's a white American thing, okay? They did respect him as a fighter, you know, but at the end of the day, man, you black. That's what it is, man. So it was white people who didn't market him, okay? In addition, Mighty Mouse Demetrius Johnson is not connected to anything as far as black culture. Yes, he's a black man, but he's one of those black people where, you know, he's white, you know? He's not white, but you know what I mean? He's cultured white.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe it may be due to his upbringing. I've seen people like this before. Their upbringing was like, this is who they've been around. They might have been adopted, whatever, you know.
Mm-hmm.
This dude is from Seattle. You know what I'm saying? He's from Seattle. But like many of these UFC black men, mixed martial arts guys, they're not connected to black culture. Many of them. They have white man's voices. They act like white men. They talk American white lingo. Okay? They dress white. And they usually, you know, bunny hopping. They usually bunny hopping. They love the snow bunnies, like Mighty Mouse. But that's their life, okay? That's their life. Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson, still one of the greatest fighters that ever stepped in the octagon, period. But the problem with many of these bunny hoppers, like Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson, love the snow bunny, is that people like him, he's so insecure because they already feel a way about bunny hopping and not being connected to black culture. They always think people are looking at them. They're typically insecure people. I remember one time I went to go see a fight, and I was at my man's house, a friend of mine. He had like a fight party. I forgot which fight it was. It was a boxing match. And his brother, you know, he's a bunny hopper or whatever. He was there with his white woman. Everybody else there was black. Nobody cared. Nobody said nothing about that. Man, people came to see the fight. So he was sitting there staring at the screen like the TV. It was real weird. He was sitting right in front of it, like close, and he was just staring forward. The white woman, she was chilling regular. You know what I mean? You know, white people are okay around black people. Nothing's going to happen. You know, white people we not okay around them in these type of outings, especially when it involves alcohol, but not going to do nothing to another human being. You know what I mean? Listen, he's sitting there looking at the screen straight forward, not moving. So I went and asked him, I said, yo, he was in the kitchen. I said, hey, what's wrong with your brother? He said, man, he think everybody looking at him, man, because of the white wife. I said, nobody even looking at him. He said, man, I know, man, that's how he be acting. But anyway, these dudes be having a lot of issues with insecurity and things like that. You know what I'm saying? And people like Mighty Mouse Johnson, you know, it's usually white people who are staring at them because white people expect these guys to be a certain way. You know, they expect these guys to fit into certain black stereotypes. And when they're not that, these white folks, you know, start messing with them, saying derogatory things, teasing them. You know, they do take them as friends, but they face abuse from these white people for not being so-called a stereotypical black person that these white people think that they're supposed to be, usually based off of what they see on TV. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But they always blame black people, okay? They always blame, oh, black people are the ones looking at me and treat me away. No, it's white people that did that to y'all. You know what I'm saying? Then these guys like Mighty Mouse, who have a white wife, they always have something to say about black people, typically black women, in a negative way. And this is my problem with you people, you Mighty Mouse guys and you other ones, maybe listen. The only time you socially awkward bozos like Mighty Mouse speak about race relations is when you're speaking bad or negative in a way about black people, typically black women, okay? They set you up and ask you these questions. Now, Mighty Mouse is on some show with another serial bunny hopper being RG3. I don't know the name of the show, but I know, you know, it was probably set up like this. The host, a white woman, she knew that both of these guys were snow bunny worshippers and they had white women, so she touched on that.
In interracial marriage, I've been at parties where they were like, oh, you played in the snow, and I was like, well, I don't want to play in the mud, I want to get dirty now. Shit, I dated black girls before, it still work out, they're trying to bully me all the depending on where I'm at in the country, if I'm like, you know, Maryland, I can feel the tension, I can feel like, you know, you can't handle a strong woman. I was like, you know, you might be right. Being in a barbecue full of homies, and everybody there is black, and they're all dating black chicks, and I'm not, and I'm like, that's your guys' problem. I was like, who's all stressed out here? Not my black ass. You all are.
Okay, there you go. There was no reason for Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson to say that, you know. But he has the right to say what he wants, right? As a human, as a man. And we can say what we want as well, okay? And his response to that is the reason why many people who really don't care what Mighty Mouse does with his life, many black people, we don't care. Now we have a problem with him, okay? We have a problem. Many of these guys who are snow bunny worshippers or with these interracial relationships, we typically don't even have a problem with them. But when they go on and do things like this, that's when it becomes a problem. Mighty Mouse Demetrius Johnson, I've seen all kinds of fights. Never speaks on race and race relations. I've seen Mighty Mouse Demetrius Johnson finagle his way out of the race topic when things were asked of him in the past, okay? By white people, you know, asking questions. I've seen people like guys like that, they become very good at, you know, tap dancing around the topic of race. You know what I'm saying? But you say this about black people right here. Why didn't you finagle your way? They don't finagle their way out of these situations. This is my issue with these guys like Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson and some of you Negroes who may be listening. Instead of continuing raceless like you always did, Mighty Mouse. Guys like him. The only time you bring up race is when you dissing black people. You know what I mean? And here's another thing. There were no black women trying to bully Mighty Mouse, yo. There was no black women trying to bully no Mighty Mouse. Mighty Mouse is 5'3". He's from Seattle. He talks like a white American man, okay? Who's from Seattle? Anybody? I mean, real, like black people, black American people. This dude is from Seattle, okay? If a black woman acts like a regular black person, he'll say, oh, she trying to bully me. We know what a bully is, dude. You're just insecure from the beginning. Black people, period, are going...
One by one, cars drive by this group of protesters.
Oh boy. Let me go into the next video. I hate when it cut with a commercial. This is really really interesting, and how some people outlook. You know, you shouldn't lose yourself when you date another race.
Nigerian investor marries a German man and has biracial children, but wants to complain about racism. The irony.
White meat is bitter when heat. It doesn't matter where it comes from, as long as it's white and it could be young or old. It really doesn't matter as long as it's white and available.
Hi friends, come attend my German family get together annual meeting with me. So every year we all meet, tasting what I ate because I was hungry. And now this is the evening time and they started the bonfire, which was really nice. I think this is also a tradition of welcoming the summer and just saying goodbye to the winter or spring. And we just enjoyed the rest of the night. My daughter was so excited about seeing the fire and we went home afterwards. Thanks for watching.
These babes are desperate for a white tea. No black man stands a chance.
Good morning, you guys. So let's talk about racism in Dresden. So I feel like everybody would have different view of what they consider racism. And for me, the constant racism that I experience is actually whenever I go to Praga Strasse. There is this crazy man in Praga Strasse that, every time I pass there, especially like every single time I pass there, he's always insulting me, calling me different names. Emilia, what happened yesterday? The crazy man, what was he doing?
He's shouting.
He was shouting. And where was he?
He's in the bench. They're sitting in the bench.
Yeah, he was sitting in the bench was it in the street?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was
It was in the street.
Yeah. He was in the street. And now
He's shouting.
Yeah, he was shouting and it was not good. It was not good. So I think the first time
I'm passing the crazy man.
Yeah, niche and fasten. No touching the crazy man, no talking to the crazy man, no looking at the crazy man. Do you understand?
Only in the stroller.
Yeah, you can look from the stroller, but don't look at him too much. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So yes, I understand.
This is slowly.
What?
Listen.
Notice how the German family completely ignored her.
Okay. So I feel like
She
the first time
cannot
he did
read
that
her
to
own
me, I was
property.
actually shaking. I think that was about 2
No
years
one
ago.
really wants
I
her
was
or her daughter
I was
around.
terribly shaking, and I think I cried at it because I was on the phone call and someone just shouted and screamed at me. I think I made a video that day, like 2 years ago. And towards the end of the year, last year, I was also with a friend and this man called me a monkey and told me to go back to Africa, that I was only getting the money here, blah blah blah. And yesterday also, shouted at me and this man is just so crazy. And I feel like the reverse was the case. If it was a black person shouting at people in the street, the police would have gotten the person. Because I feel like I'm not the only one who that man is doing that too. Like it's only when I pass there, obviously it's based on the color of my skin. Because every other person passed there and he doesn't do anything. But the moment I pass there, that's when he's shouting and saying all sort of nonsense. And I don't know if someone has already reported him before, or I should just go ahead and also report him myself. I have no idea what to do. If you live in Dresden, do you know this man who sits in the middle of the street at Praga Strasse, on a bench, I think, in front of Zara or thereabouts? Have you experienced it?
In the bench. In the bench.
Yes.
Here's the thing, ladies. Listen close. If this white man was so against white male patriarchy, more than likely you wouldn't be with him. because you wouldn't benefit enough. The game wouldn't be rigged in his favor enough. And maybe he wouldn't have a college degree. Maybe he would have been a McDonald's worker or a factory worker. Would you want him then? Maybe.
Maybe.
If he was actively fighting against white male hegemonic rule, the benefits of white male patriarchy, the racial hypergamy that you yourself are probably engaging in, would you actually want him then? I would like to guess probably not.
She just want a different white guy. She want a white guy fighting the systems of oppression.
While benefiting from it.
We toured the old city. We went to my dad's workplace because my dad is a police officer. You can see in one of the slides, he was holding a gun. He was just curious about everything, and 2 weeks was over at this point, and I was seeing him off to the airport. And I was also just really glad that we matched my vibe, we matched each other's vibe, because that's the only way the marriage would work. And it's been 5 years down the line and forever to go, inshallah. So yeah, reply your DMs, ladies, you never know.
If she experiences racism constantly, then it's her husband's duty to protect her and her mixed daughter from it. But it appears he is not doing anything. Black women love white men because they are racist, but white men will never love black women because they are racist. This is why black women don't care when whites are racist to others, but then when whites are racist to them, they want everyone to care. You can't have it both ways.
Wow, that's really, it comes back to, you need to pick someone with good character. I mean, if you don't have somebody with good character, and they're not going to love you for you, why go through something like that? And it's just, it's really sad. I just caught this one video. Shout out to this woman. She played a little bit of video.
What if everything you've heard about salt is wrong? A top Miami lipidologist just discovered the real reason behind hypertension, and it has nothing
As them because they were white, and they elevated them over black women because they were white. So I don't think that their whiteness should even enter into the equation. It just needs to go on facts. What happened? Now that's just my opinion. So there are 2 points that I want to make before I end this video. Number 1, white women need to recognize red flags in black men, because this is coming up often enough that I think that white women need to be warned about these kind of men. When you're dating a man and he hates the women of his race more than he does anybody else, not only that, but he centers his anger, because this man had anger issues. He centers his anger in the women of his race, or he centers his anger in something or somebody else. That's a red flag. There are white women who will take to social media and say that they will not date a black man who doesn't date black women, or who is constantly berating black women, because those white women realize that is a problem, and that will be a problem in that relationship.
Right.
It is dysfunctional for you to be in a relationship with a white woman and have your teeth in the black woman's back all the time, especially people who are not even aware that you're alive. You got this imaginary black woman in your head that you can't get out of your head, and you're in a relationship with a white woman. That's a sign right there that you need to get that black woman out of your head. You might need to go to some kind of therapy. That is unhealthy. So the white woman or the Asian woman or the Hispanic woman that gets involved with a black man like that needs to know from the start, this relationship is not going to end well. And I'm going to say this, and I don't know what happened between that woman and that man, but the police are saying that there was an altercation. I'm going to say that that woman didn't just all of a sudden take up a weapon and decide to end that man's life. Something happened. So even though he's out there singing the praises of this white woman, only the white woman that was living in that house with him knows what he was really like. And she has a story to tell too. She has been arrested and charged
with involuntary manslaughter, and that carries 1 to 10 years in Georgia. So it's very possible that she might get off very lightly, if not altogether. And you can call it white privilege if you want to, but it was always white privilege because she's been white all the time. Now, I'm not trying to diagnose anybody's case, but I just know it's something wrong with you when you go around with hatred in your heart for somebody who's not even thinking about you. That is not healthy, and that is a disorder that needs to be diagnosed by a professional. And the last thing I want to say is I have 2 friends that are psychologists, and one of them is adamant that there is undiagnosed mental illness in the Black American community. And we don't like to talk about it. We don't like to talk about mental illness because that's taboo in the Black American community.
You're right.
But there is undiagnosed mental illness in our community.
Right.
And one of the main things that we're going to have to work on as a race is self-hatred.
Right.
Because if you hate Black women that much and you are a Black person, what does it say about you? Because no matter how many white people you get involved with, they cannot erase your Blackness.
No.
They can't.
No.
So mental
No.
illness in the
No.
Black community
No.
is a
Right.
problem. And when a man like this carries on the way he does, we have to assume that there's something that's not quite right with that person.
That's true.
And the people around him, his family members, when they're always talking about Black women this and Black women that, or Black men this and Black men that, you never found a Black woman that you liked, you never met a Black man that you could stand. Please understand that that problem is you. That problem is you, especially when you have decided to move on with another race of people, but you're still stuck in your hatred of Black women or Black men. That is a sign of self-hatred. That's all I gotta say. And my very last point is that there is a small group of Black men on social media who are trying to shame Black women because Black women are saying that this is not my problem. This has nothing to do with me. You cannot shame somebody into caring about someone,
Right.
especially somebody that didn't care about them. So the best thing, I guess, to do is just to not say anything. But it is social media, and people are going to talk. And when you bring your problems to social media, people are going to have their say.
Right.
It is tragic when something like this happens because it doesn't just involve those 2 people.
Right.
It involves families, extended family, friends, communities, and to a certain extent, the country. Because this is a problem that can happen anywhere in the country. But as far as the Black community is concerned, we still just need to be a little bit more careful about what we're saying. Choose your partners wisely, live, and let other people live. Oh.
And I'm going to agree with Miss Boulay, Lady Boulay on that one. You know, I'm going to give you a little testimony. I've dated Black women, I dated white women, other women. And guys, any Black guy come across this video, women are just women. Women, no matter what race of woman you deal with, there's things you have to go beneath the surface. You have to get to know the person's personality. But I learned over time, you know, I've had some bad experiences with, like I said, all different types of women. And at first, I was kind of on that kick. Well, it's just Black women. But if you date some white women, it depends on the white woman you get. That does she have some mental health problems, just like you would do with any other woman. What's her mental status is like, and it sounded like the woman that he picked, that she went right up here. And when a Black woman picks, and this have vice versa effects, pick a white man, and he does the same thing, and takes her life. You know, you have to look at anybody you get with. You have to look at their personality. I mean, and get rid of that stereotype that all one particular group of people this way, one particular group of people this way. In reality, that's not how the way it works. If you find one good person out of another race of people who you choose to have relations and go into intermarriage with, you just found that that's one special person. It don't mean that for example, every white woman is going to be like that. And this I learned. I'm telling you. And then, is she strong enough? Or you just a test trial? If it's a white man, black women, are you a test trial? Or is it just that they're getting back at their family because they know they don't approve of it? That's something you have to think about. Another thing you have to think about, when these topics come up and you have children, how you going to approach it? Realistically, approach this matter. You know that there's some people in a segment of people in the predominant majority community, sometimes in the black community, are going to kind of look at you funny. Are you willing to? And you don't have to isolate yourself from it, but realistically, it's still a taboo in America, in certain places, in some like Germany and other places, that certain areas is still like that. So are you willing to sacrifice? You need to have an open and honest dialogue especially when you having children, and how to walk them through it. And you have to be as a couple, as an interracial couple, and I'm going to have to network with that child to get him over her self-esteem. I suggest this: put him in a mixed environment. Do not take him to an all-black environment. Do not take him to an all-white environment. Why? Because I'm telling you, based on my experiences, it does something to him. I dated, and I mentioned this in videos before, I had a female that was mixed race, and she grew up in southern Kentucky. And the part of Kentucky was they don't think highly of two mixed race down in this part of Kentucky. And how I found out was from talking with people over the phone, like a chat line. It was from other white people. Told me how the way it was. Just come out and just having a chat. And I kind of figured it was like that. And the mom was so naive. And it's sad that the black male, her father, didn't stay in her life. They didn't have a good relationship. She ended up going with her white family, and like Runaway Slave said, that's all she ever know. She don't know her black side out of her family. And so that's true. I have met a lot of black people like that, and mixed race people. And so I understand it, they get them into a better environment as far as your school and just a better friends. But even though you take them from majority of your black, because maybe they're going to get picked on, bullied on, or get into some kind of thing. But if you don't have a mixture of people, if you don't have a balance of black and white people, they're going to have an identity crisis. I mean, once in a while, go around your black friends and your family members, because, and it's good to have your white friends, but you know that when you're an interracial couple, you know that it's a different environment. You know this. And you have to be realistic with this. And make sure the person you get with, regardless of their race, this go for black men and black women, make sure they want you for you, or they willing to, and really you have to get to know a person. And you really do. And I've had some wonderful relationship with white women, but I had some relationship where it wasn't so wonderful. Same with black women, and I had a few other women, and just dating. I didn't necessarily sleep with every woman, because I had to. But I had to think long term. That's another thing. You have to really think about it long term. Are you willing to sacrifice and put up with it? or you know that there's going to be some obstacles, and are you willing to be? You have to be strong enough. I have a person I know. She's Latino descent. I mean, a person I know. She that I talk to every once in a while. She's like a good friend of mine, and she has. She's Mexican American, and she was telling me how she lived. Her and her husband is originally from Houston, and she was telling me about how she went. Her and her husband, when they go out to things, she moved up here to Ohio, and the area of Ohio is outside of Columbus. It's Delaware. She was telling me how her because she's a white Latina. She got blonde hair. She's mistaken for a white woman, and she was telling me how when her husband was still down there in Texas and was working, he's a black man. You know, everybody was fine, hi dandy, hi dandy. It was friendly. When her husband got to Ohio, and they would go out together and watch their daughter who run track, all of a sudden the people just changed up. They did a flip, and and then she was telling me how sometimes she would go into the restaurant and they didn't even want to serve them. And you have individuals, and I was kind of, I've been out to Delaware. I was like, wow, I mean, well, this is what you have in Ohio. And I told her maybe come towards Columbus, you probably wouldn't get too much of that, because Columbus, even though we do have, there's some racial incidents here, but you're kind of better off down this way than you do out there in Delaware, because Delaware is predominantly white, and that's where her sister lived at. So this is just recently she was telling me about it, like, wow, man. And her daughter, who is dark complected, she got mixed, and she's part Mexican and part black, and she was going through a thing that, like some children do, go through the bully thing and self-esteem thing. But her mom is a fighter. Her husband, he's kind of laid back. He's kind of laid back kind of dude, but he kind of, tell her that, to kind of navigate certain things. Because they got a couple kids together, and that's one of the things. Her son went through something similar at school, where she was telling me, and he's part black and Mexican. Went on. All the kids liked him on this team. It's the mixed kid, but it was some white kid that called me N-word, and he just took it with a grain of salt. He didn't attack or fight back anything, but she was mad and upset. Why didn't he she didn't clock him. And I liked it what she said. Her husband told her, hey, you can't do that because by him being mixed race, it would fall in his. If they would have got to a fight, he'd beat the kid up, because her son, from what she told me, is a pretty big kid. That they would have both got suspended. So he had to keep his cool, calm, and collected. See, her husband understood that white privilege still worked, even though that they're doing something wrong. That there's a certain dynamic, and she confronts it, and people kind of like, oh no, it's not like that, because she's directly in the face. She's no pull your punches. And I told her when she come in Ohio, unlike Texas, we're more. It's kind of subtle when people don't like it. It's not directly in your face. Texas, like bam, like down south, them people let you know. No, Ohio, we kind of smile, and then we act like we up here in the Midwest, we kind of like, we won't say nothing, but we kind of, and there's some people like that when they don't approve of it, especially a black man. I don't, probably black women with white men, but mainly a black man with white woman. And that's the taboo. I mean, it's sad, but it's the truth. Maybe a black woman, you can probably kind of slide to get away with it, but with the black man, yeah, it's you see it. It's not so much directly, but it's indirectly, and just like in her case, So, my advice is pick a person with good character and it's strong. Luckily, she's a strong woman, and she don't that with tooth and nail. But sometimes she got to deal with people in her own community dealing with that, because with a Mexican American community. But she loved her husband. He's a black. She loved him to death. Love him, boy, and she will fight tooth and nail. She's rare, but that's why I say you have to find somebody. A black man, black women, you have to find with someone who's not going to be so, okay, honey, I don't think that we don't, maybe it's something, you don't want to deal with someone, especially if you date someone outside your race. If they ain't gonna stand 10 toes down with you, you need to get away from them. Find somebody that do. That they don't have that subconsciously, they don't want to, because they see, no, wrong is wrong, right is right. That's the way it should be. And if they can't be like that towards you, you don't need to take them as a mate. If you won't put up with it with the woman of your race or the man of your race, you shouldn't have to put up with it from another race who you pick as your spouse. And you just can't ignore stuff like this. It does to a certain degree. You have to take it with a practical approach. And that's what this person I know did. We had this conversation recently. So I say this, and the worst thing you can do is that there's good, I'm going to say it like this, there's good women of all races, and there's bad women of all races. It's not just black women. And for black women, it's not just black men. You just didn't come across the wrong type of person. Right type of person, that's what it is. And that's the truth. You gotta be with someone that's gonna love you for you. Not what you can make, not out of stereotype, not out of fantasy. They're gonna love you for you. That's to anybody. Make sure that person is with you for you. Especially if they come from another race. Let God show you what's in their heart before you take them on as a mate. Because and see how that's why it's good to go to what they call a courting and dating period, because that tells you a lot before you take the relationship to the next level. And that's with any relationship, even women and men of your same race. And this is the best advice. And she's right. And with black men, black women like that, yeah, they have a serious issue. I mean, like I said, I had some black women that did me wrong, but I had some black women that did me right. And it depends on, it goes back to the character. Black men, it's the character. It's not all black women. Black women, it's not all black men. It's the character of the man you come across. And if you meet someone of a different race, you just met that nice, good person that has good character. Not everybody in that race has good character. Trust me. You're going to see what I'm talking about. Because you're thinking it all, and people can show a face. They can smile and be anything, but they're going to show you their real side. So remember this advice. So when you pick your mate, pick someone who's going to have the heart. And don't be like this. Be like these people. Take care. Be blessed. See you on the next video.